Okay, hope everybody's doing good tonight. Welcome to the 25-26 parent-athlete meeting. It's hard to believe, but I appreciate you taking time out. I know it's not your favorite thing to do to just come up here and certainly listen to me when you have plenty of other things to do, but I also think it's always important to have one night where we can deliver our message, everybody be on the same page about what we expect as far as our athletic program, some of our rules, some things that you might not know about us, and so on. So please, there's no finality to this. If there's something that you don't understand, if there's something you have questions about, you can always contact me at the athletic office. Myself or our athletic secretary, April, who's running around here somewhere, will be one of us right down here. One of us will be glad to get a hold of you if you need us, okay? So if you forgot something or it didn't make sense, just call or email and we'll try to clarify at any time. I do always like to start this meeting with a little bit of year in review because I do find that a lot of people take a lot of joy in telling us what we didn't do right the last year. But I also like to tell people everything that we did at a high level and the accomplishments that our kids had in the last 12 months. And it's all about our kids here. Without them, we don't have a program. I think we have great coaches here, but even them will tell you, that without our kids, we don't have a program, okay? So these are some of the great things we accomplished. You can read through there. Baseball made it to the Sweet 16, had an All-Stater, won their 5th straight regional. Boys bowling won the MVC and a regional championship. Boys tennis had 3 All-Staters. They finished 8th overall as a team. Boys track won the MVC and the sectional. They finished in the top 20, and if it wasn't for a couple injuries, probably would have finished with a trophy. Girls track had 1 young lady that was all-state in 2 events. Wrestling had 5 state qualifiers and a state runner-up. Our cheer team was a state qualifier. Girls bowling was 4th place at the state finals. They won the MVC, they won the regional and the sectional. They also had an all-stater. Girls cross country were state qualifiers. Volleyball, MVC champs, regional champs, sectional champs. They made it to the Elite 8 and ultimately lost in the super sectional and had an all-stater as well. Our bass fishing team was a sectional qualifier this year, getting out of the regional. Golf, our boys golf team also had a top 10 finish out of Jacob Florick, and our boys cross country team had an all-state performance as well. Really proud of these results. We had 5 teams finish in the top 16 in the state, and another 3 finish in the top 36 of all the teams in the state. So it's great, a great year for our kids. I'm not exactly sure what expectations are, but I'm really, really proud of what our kids continue to do in our athletic program. Some of those things you probably knew and some you didn't. So what's new around here? Well, you might see that the softball field in the back of the football stadium is getting kind of tore down. We are in the process of putting in a new multi-purpose facility called Veterans Park. This will be right behind the football stadium, as you can see here. We are moving some of our track field event areas down to here with fan seating. We have 2 artificial surfaces going in, one that will house our varsity softball program, one that will house our varsity baseball program. That's the Reservoir Prairie Lake up in the top left. And these are actual renderings, so that's actually what it should look like when we're doing it right. But what's unique about this facility is it's artificial, and all these stripes are 10 yards apiece. So we can use it for football practice, soccer practice, flag football practice, and everything that we need, as well as PE, underclass things. And so it's really going to be something that we use 12 months a year. Pretty neat facility that we developed here on campus, piece by piece, put it together. It'll be the first of its kind, and we'll be the first school to put this new surface down in their stadium to be used for multiple sports. It's supposed to play like real grass, and we'll see. I mean, they all say that, but it is new, and we're excited about that. So that's coming soon. Something that's also new here is we have 2 new codes. So they look like school buses, but the inside is like a charter bus. We have storage up top. They have air conditioning, and more importantly, they have Wi-Fi. So that when our kids are traveling to longer events, and our longer events, they will be on these buses for sure, so they can do their homework and things. There's no excuses as they come back. So if they say they didn't have Wi-Fi on the way home, they're lying, okay? So that's in our we have 2 of these. We've also equipped all 4 of our white buses that some of our smaller sports take to events are also equipped with Wi-Fi for that purpose so that our kids can do what they're here to do, and that's academics first, obviously, and we want to be able to accommodate that. I don't know anybody else that's doing that for their kids right now, but we like to be first. So I'm excited about these as well. So our philosophy here in our athletic program is pretty simple, okay? We use 3 words a lot around here. You've probably heard it. Energy, attitude, and toughness. We say let's eat all the time. It's in a lot of our posts, taglines, all those things. We want to compete with an elite level of energy. We believe that energy is something that takes no skill, no athletic ability, just energy, okay? Attitude, same thing. We expect our kids to carry themselves as a dynamic attitude person, okay? And we also expect our kids to develop situational toughness. And when I mean that, I don't mean this isn't about physical strength. It's the toughness to be able to discipline yourself to do your homework on the way home. It's the toughness to get through practice when it's hot. To be able to carry a workload and be successful in sports. That toughness is important, that mental toughness, that fortitude that it takes to kind of get through your days when we have a lot expected of you. We do believe that we can have a really high-achieving athletic program by doing things the right way, but also still having high expectations here and on the fields and in the courts and wherever else we're performing. So how do we do this? Well, we operate on 4-week cycles in our athletic program, and our coaches will get the 8-week schedule here pretty soon. When we start practice in 2 weeks, our first week will be an energy week, the second week will be an attitude week, then a toughness week, and then we allow our programs to pick one for their 4th week. So every month, we kind of focus on these things. And what we tell our coaches is during an energy week, we're going to reward kids on Friday who had the best energy during the week, who were the best example of energy. We have wristbands that we give out. The kids get those. They get to wear them. Same thing for attitude, same thing for toughness, and then the coaches can do whatever they want on that 4th week. So we feel like if you're going to take something from our athletic program, when you go to college, and, I've been to college, and your friends all ask about high school, and they ask what you learned in practice. We don't care about learning how to run routes or shoot baskets or, spike volleyballs or tumble or any of that stuff. We want them to learn lessons. I learned how to apply these things to get through practice in these tough times. Because, a lot of our kids that do go on to play college sports, I think even as much as we challenge them, it's always a rude awakening. I was fortunate to be there and go through some of that stuff myself. It's like nothing you've ever been through. Just the mental toughness that it takes, the physical, just the wear and tear on your body, and then you still have to try to get a degree too. So all those things, we try to prepare our kids for that here, and that's why we go through things like this. These are our seasons. We have a few new additions. Flag football will kick off this year for the first time for the girls. It's a fall sport, okay? For a school our size, we offer probably about as much as anybody in the state does for a school with 1,200 kids. So our new flag football is new for us. Another new sport for us is esports. Some of you probably have varying opinions on esports, okay? But we have a lot of kids that's important to them. We have a new esports arena that's currently being built right now on the middle school campus. I got a chance to take a look at that the other day, and it's really spectacular. Something really neat for those kids to be able to perform in. So if that's something that your son or daughter is interested in, we do provide that. And then bass fishing is not new. We've had it for a while, and that's starting to gain a little bit of popularity. We do have a good fishing program, and that's available to our kids in the spring as well. Shifting gears a little bit. To participate in athletics here, you need a physical. You need an athletic physical. Physicals are good for 13 months, okay? So if you got a physical at our school physical date last year, it's still good for another month, but we do offer one here every year. Just so happens that it's tomorrow, okay? So we're offering physicals here at the high school tomorrow. They'll start at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry I didn't put that on there. 6 o'clock until about 7:30. They're $20 if you can come up and get that taken care of. It's an easy way to do it. They get you in and out. and you'll be good to go. Not everybody can do that, and you certainly don't have to use us for that. You can go to Walgreens, you can go to urgent care, you can go to your doctor. The only thing I will tell you is they have to have it to play. So if you make an appointment and it's not for some time, you could run into an issue as far as being able to compete or even practice without a physical. I'm going to run through the code of conduct. Look, you'll be able to get when you register, and I'll have links, I'll have QR codes that'll come up here tonight for you to scan to get some information. One of them will be registration, and on the registration link, you will be able to read through the code of conduct. Our code of conduct has been kind of condensed into a one sheet of paper about our expectations. Okay, so I don't want to read word for word. I know all of you can, read what's up there, but a couple of things I want to highlight is that we expect our athletes to be good people here. We expect our coaches to be good people too. That goes hand in hand. I'm not going to have an expectation for our families and our kids that we don't have for our coaches. Do mistakes happen? Do things happen? Yeah, but there's a line too of some things we just will not tolerate. Okay, and you can read through that of what's expected. Participation in sports here is a privilege. We do not force our coaches to keep kids in the program if they feel like they will cause a deficiency within it, or if they in some regard don't fit into the culture of that program. Okay, it's a touchy topic. It's one that sometimes can create issues, but we need kids that can buy into what we're trying to do ultimately to get the results that we showed on the first page. These code of conduct rules are in effect all 12 months of the year. So if we had a 16-year-old kid over at the homecoming this weekend that was drinking, he will get hammered for that, and it will carry. I don't care if he's a baseball player, it will be in effect come baseball season. So you don't just get out of it. You also don't get out of it by just hopping and trying to play another sport real quick. We're smarter than that. Okay, so we'll evaluate each situation individually, and we will apply it. We don't want to apply this. We don't take pride in code of conduct or trying to knock kids down, but we still have to have a standard. And our coaches met Monday night about standards and what we expect from our kids. And we want to make it really simple. Our standard is here, and if our kids don't meet that standard, they can't participate. Okay. Just as far as eligibility goes, like I said, I just want to hit on a couple of the key things. Eligibility, you have to pass 5 classes a week to be eligible, okay? Sadly, that means you have to get 5 Ds a week, all right? I don't love that, all right? But I also don't want to challenge what the state sets as our eligibility code. So, they're eligible to play. But understand, if you're in one of our programs and our coaches don't like that your kid has 5 Ds, I'm not going to make our coach put your kid in a major role if you have 5 Ds. And the reason for that is not because they don't like the kid, because that means he's 1 or 2 assignments away from being completely ineligible. And if we put all that time into one kid that's borderline ineligible, we could be getting somebody else ready that's a non-question mark, if that makes sense, okay? So we don't want kids with 3, 4 Ds in our programs. Certainly they can be, but us counting on them seems to be a little questionable. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's nothing. We're certainly not trying to pit us against you or the students, but we have to take care of the entire program. If you do fail a class or 2 or whatever, you can take them up take at least 1 class in the summer to kind of make up for that if eligibility is an issue. If you're not, let's just say, and the reason I say this is because if you fail 3 classes in the spring, and so that only allows you to have 4 passing classes. You wouldn't be able to play sports in the fall with that result in the spring. So we do allow you to make 1 up in the summer, possibly 2 if it fit, but that's a whole different topic, and you would have to pay for that, and that is possible, but that'd be a discussion we'd have if it came to that. So just to kind of just to hit on eligibility. So if there's any questions about that, you obviously can let me know. Attendance, you have to be in school for 3 hours a day to participate. Okay, that's the rule. It doesn't, people always try to figure out if it's the first 3 hours. You got to be in school for 3 hours. Okay, that's the rule. We stick by that. Every situation's different. Sometimes there's a kid that's just not feeling very well during the day. He's been here for the first 3 hours. Just be honest. We got a game tonight, and he needs to go home because he's not feeling well. He's dizzy, but he feels good. By the time we get to the game, we'll let him play, like we will. It's not that it's all about sports, it's that sometimes kids do need different ways. Their bodies are different. And we don't want to just say you have to be at the last 3 hours of the day to play. Okay? There's just a million different things that come up. And every single situation is different. And so we try to be as open-minded about those as we can. Okay? Obviously, there's exceptions, death in the family, school-sponsored field trips, if you're at a funeral or a wedding during the day for a family member, any of those things, we would not hold you to the 3 hours, but it would take some communication and a note from the parents. I do want to introduce our trainer. Lori's down here. Lori Hilling does a fantastic job with our student athletes. I'm going to let her talk in a second, but I am going to say one thing. She's not a hotel manager, so her training room is not, a spa, okay? We need kids in there that need to get treated. It becomes a hangout and kids that just want to avoid practice. And we need to be able to take care of some of the minor things at practice by getting stretched out and things like that while she deals with our serious injuries. We have about 600 athletes and we have one trainer. Okay, now we're trying to change that, but right now we have one trainer. Okay, so I don't want her to have to beat a dead horse here, but she does a fantastic job, but we do have to prioritize injuries from maybe just being a little bit banged up sometimes. So I'll let her talk. Do you need the mic? Good?
No, I think I'm right.
Okay.
Let me know if I'm not talking loud enough. Just inform you guys, I am here for all I'm here for all home high school events. I'm at the high school. If you guys need me, I'm around. I'm here for most all practices. Also, I usually get here around 2-ish and I leave when in-season practices are over. So if you need me, find me. If your athlete needs me, find me. The best way to contact me is through email. That way, I know it's there. It comes through, service on your phone, just sometimes shoddy. So just, if you need something, contact me through email. If your athlete has a condition or something that they need, not necessarily special treatment, but if, say, we have an athlete who's diabetic, please let me know. I know the school nurse knows. We do great communication with the school nurse, but sometimes that just gets lost or there's a lot of paperwork or something. But if you tell me, email me, see me, let me know, hey, so-and-so, this is my athlete, they're diabetic, these are the things that we need to do. If they're self-sufficient, that's great. I just need to know because if something does happen, I need to be aware. If you have an athlete who has asthma, please make sure that your athlete has their inhaler or whatever they need on the field. There's too many times that we have an athlete who has an asthma attack, but their inhaler is in the locker room. In which locker? In their bag that no one knows. So they're having trouble breathing, but we need to get to their inhaler so they're trying to tell somebody else where it is. It doesn't work. So let me know if there is a condition or something that we need to be aware of. Make sure I have all of my T's and I's dotted and crossed. That's basically it. If you have any questions, please find me afterwards, and we can figure out what we need to go from here.
Thanks, Lori. Yeah, the one thing I'll add, and like I said, Lori does a tremendous job. We listen to Lori. We have serious injuries, certainly concussions, things like that. We listen to her advice. I will say, once you go to the doctor, and I say this every year because we run into it every year. And look, I would never want to parent somebody else's child, just like I wouldn't want people parenting mine. But if you take your child to the doctor, and the doctor says they're out for 2 weeks, they're out for 2 weeks. Like, it doesn't matter if our trainer goes, look, this is a bruise and they can play through it. It doesn't matter. If a medical doctor writes on paper a notice and contacts us through that document that they're out, we can't do anything about it. So we always want our kids to see our trainer. We do feel very strongly that if Lori thinks they need medical attention, she will get them there as needed. And that's been very, very successful model for us. So just Be aware that many doctors, and I'm not knocking doctors, I have a lot of respect for doctors, but a lot of them in many ways will tell your kid to rest for 2 weeks, and they're seeing your child in between many others. So they're trying to make those decisions without x-rays and other things. So, it's just, we have to make sure that we all have the child, the student athlete's best interest in mind. And like I said, we respect doctors, and that's why when they write us a note saying they're out for 2 weeks, they're out for 2 weeks. We're not going to change that because our trainer evaluates them at differently than that. Transportation. So transportation, as far as it's concerned for away events, we leave this up to our coaches. If my coaches want our kids to ride to and from the events together, I fully support that. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned in riding the bus home from a game, whether you win, even more so when you lose. Coaches, I do give them that latitude because some sports are a little bit different when they take place, how they take place. Is it during finals week where there are kids in here? Like, we are flexible to a point, but I do let our coaches have that autonomy to make that decision. And if they think that your child needs to ride home on the bus, the reason I don't put a stamp on this and just shut it down is because there are situations that come up, and I want to be fair. There's, your kid's brother's getting married in Wisconsin on Saturday, and you got a football game Friday night down the road, and you're leaving after that. Okay, we understand that, all right? We lost, and my son's kind of feeling down a little bit, and we just like to take him home with us. That is not going to work, okay? That's not going to work for us. The athletic fee, okay? To play sports here, it's a $60 athletic fee per sport per kid, or $120 max, but the maximum a family could pay is $240. So no matter how many kids you have, no matter how many sports they play, the most you could pay is that. I will tell you that our athletic fee has gone up $15 in 20 years. So most schools right now are well over 100 per sport. We try to keep that as low as possible, but we have to charge something. There's a lot of things that helps pay for, but we do keep that down. So I know I hate asking for money in any regard, but I do think the 60 is fair, and we'll do the best we can to keep that down as long as we can. These are all the forms, and you don't have to read through this. These are all the different forms that you will see when you register, okay? When you go on to register, there'll be several boxes to click. You'll read through a lot of these things. You'll click that you read it, basically an e-signature on there, just confirming that you know what they were talking about. There's a concussion information sheet that you have to read through. It will not be complete, and your child will not be able to participate until all of those things are completed online. Like I said, in just a little bit here, I'll put that QR code up there for you. Just a couple highlights on what you can kind of expect from our coaches when you meet with them for the first time. Some sports will meet tonight after, some already had their meetings, and some will meet at different times, and I'm talking about fall sports only. Winter sports, we will have a totally different night where we will come in and meet with your coaches and go over your things. Our coaches should clearly outline their philosophy. What are they about? What are they about as a coach? What are their expectations? They should be positively motivating kids, constructively criticizing them. And, coaches aren't always going to be nice. They're just not going to be. I mean, they're competing too, and we want them to have competitive practices and be critical of the things they're coaching. But we also expect our coaches to circle back at some point, and that's what I ask of them. If you're going to be tough, coach, in practice, if you're going to be tough, there's other ways, and we just talked about this the other day, in the hallway, outside of practice, where you can continue to build that positive relationship. I believe in that, all right? I do think our kids, and my philosophy here is, I told our coaches the other day, and I just want you to know it comes from me because I don't want you to blame our coaches. I want our best athletes in our programs, our best kids, to be coached the hardest. Because I think when our best kids are coached the hardest, and they're criticized the most, and I mean constructively, and they respond, everybody else responds. So if we raise our ceiling with our best players, I feel like the floor comes up because all of our role players and those kids that we need to be successful, they start to follow the same message, okay? So that is accurate. I expect our best players to be coached the hardest. The expectation should be clear from our coaches. Obviously, we want them to be fair. We want them to communicate. If We're going to have expectations. We want this from the parents, okay? And this is not me trying to be demanding. This is just how it works well if parents give us this. If you've got concerns, contact the coach. I know sometimes that's difficult, okay? And there are certain situations where people feel like they have to just call me directly. I'm going to tell you to contact the coach, okay? Now, every situation's different. We address all situations on an individual basis because they're not all the same, all right? You should let us know in advance if there's anything on the schedule that doesn't work. A kid just not showing up to practice is not going to work here. We run this as a I don't want to call it a job, but it's a commitment. You're committing to our programs. Our coaches are expected to be there as well. Support, good sportsmanship. Just let our coaches coach. I know that parents getting emotionally involved in games is part of it, right? It just is. Some parents are different than others. But I know it's emotional when your kid's out there. We're going to say things. Some we mean, some we don't. It's part of the game, okay? But we do ask you to let our coaches coach. They're the ones in the film room. They're the ones developing the game plan. I assure you that our coaches aren't just walking out there to practice and thinking about what they're going to do. Our coaches are required to have practice plans, detailed minute-by-minute practice plans. They're required to plan for their events, all those things that they do. And I assure you they're doing. I could tell from our Huddle Bill, which is our video platform, that our coaches last year watched thousands of hours of film. Thousands. Okay? So I'm very proud of the effort they put into it. And lastly, please pick your kids up on time. And I mean this sincerely. Our coaches are here enough. Yes, they get paid. No, they don't get paid great. Okay? They're here because they love doing it. The last thing we want is our coaches having to go home late because somebody's kid is still here. It's not fair to them, all right? Please pick them up. Certainly things come up. If that's the case, let us know. You may be able to work something out where our coach could even run them home. Not something that we love, but in certain situations, when there's emergencies that come up, we want to be able to help too, okay? Parent meetings. Obviously it's not our favorite thing as ADs to have parent meetings, but they happen every year. All right, it's part of the job. It's part of the deal. I will tell you that I won't meet with you outside of 24 hours after a conflict. And certainly that's even after you've already met with the coach with that concern. You can make appointments. If you just show up at the office and want to meet, it's just not going to happen. I know many of you don't know me, and I understand that, but my day is pretty much from 7:05 till 5 p.m. and then back for whatever games we have till 10. I just don't have a lot of time. It needs to be scheduled, okay? On top of that, I want to be able to see my family too. So, they are scheduled. I don't shy away from parents. I don't shy away from meetings. I am willing to listen. That's what I can promise you. I'm willing to listen. All right? You'll also get my opinion on the matter, and I will also always have a meeting with my coach afterwards so that we're on the same page as to what's taking place, just so you know how all that works. I try to be as fair as possible, and I also know that you won't always agree with what I say. I get that, okay? That's part of the deal. These meetings will always stay professional. They will stay respectful, and when they don't, we'll just part ways for a little while, okay? That's just how it has to be. We can't be in the office screaming and yelling about a matter, okay? I do like to talk a little bit about scholarships because it's something that we're very proud of. I said going into this year, this fall, we'll have, for the first time in the history of our school, we'll have over 100 kids playing intercollegiate athletics. Over 100. So you do the math, 25 a year is pretty outstanding. Now, that said, no, they're not all getting all of their tuition and room and board and books paid for, okay? I want you to understand, there are many different ways to go play sports in college, okay? There are some Division III programs that don't even offer athletic scholarships. Now, they have other ways to give money, okay? But I just always want to be transparent about this because very few, now we have, I think out of the 100 and so, about 25% of those or so are not paying anything for school. They're going for absolutely free, okay? So that's fair. That's actually way higher than the national average. So we're very fortunate, all right? But there are many ways to get, and I put some stats up here that I just took off of Google, so I'm not sure how accurate it is, but you can look that up, it'll tell you the same thing. But to go to a school, I mean, the average tuition or room and board at a public's about $25,300, plus there's more fees on top of that a year. Okay, closer to 30 when you get in. That's a public school. Privates and upwards now of 50 or more thousand a year. And so there's ways to get some of that paid for. I just don't want parents thinking that it's going to be simple or even realistic in some regards for their kid to get a full scholarship. You know, and I'll just use one quick example so you know how it works. If you go play Division I, if you go Division I baseball, for example, I don't even know what the number is right now, but it's something like 13 or 14 full scholarships they get for 40 kids. Okay? So they divide them up. Some kids get a couple thousand, so that's how it works, right? They get so many full scholarships. There are a few sports at the Division I level that are mandated to give full rides just because of equity. It's girls basketball, it's volleyball, it's football, it's boys basketball. I think there's one or two more, okay? And that's it. The rest of them are all mostly partials, okay? Then Division then Division II is even less. Division III is hardly any because they're not allowed to give strictly athletic scholarships. So whole point in this is there's money available. I used to listen to an athletic director say, nobody gets scholarships, don't even worry about it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. There's a lot of kids that get rewarded for working really, really hard and being really, really skilled, okay? There's a lot. But there's also some that work really, really hard, and you should be really, really proud that a school wants to give them an opportunity to represent them at the next level, even if you still have to pay a little bit of college, okay? I always say, and I want to be this way as a parent, I don't like whenever people are disappointed that they have to go play Division II sports. That is an incredible achievement. Incredible achievement. It hurts my soul when I know a parent is disappointed because their kid didn't get a Division I scholarship. It is so hard to do. It is so hard to do. And we have had so many kids from here go play Division II, Division III sports, and we'll tell you it's the best experience they ever had. Many of them are on our coaching staff. And I think it's a great thing to keep in mind, all right? If any of your kids go to play college sports, I don't care if you pay the full tuition. It's an incredible accomplishment, okay? And we will celebrate them all the same way. From the kid that walks on, we'll have a signing day just like we have the kid that goes to Alabama for free. And we have those, by the way. And you can look at the board and see where we have. I think we have, right now, we'd have to check what we have, 26, 27 Division I kids on the board. Yeah, so. All right, I want to talk a little bit about our leadership program. I think this is important. It's something that we started 2 years ago. And we call it the Leadership Academy. Obviously, it's spelled a little weird there. I do know how to spell. That is because that's our kind of mantra here with the EAT, okay? Our leadership program is every other week once school starts, okay? And this will be publicized throughout the school. We don't just meet with our captains. Matter of fact, I'll be the first to tell you, my coaches know it, I don't like captains. I don't like captains. I think when we name captains sometimes, people just take it for granted as we go through the season. Some kids can wear it well. Some kind of just take it for granted they're the leader, and even if they, kind of toe the line, they're still the captain. I think you should have to earn it every single week. And every single Monday we can name captains who deserved to be at last week, who was the leader in the program. That's how I feel, but I don't make my coaches do that. They've got their own leadership model, okay? But what I do offer is a leadership program every other week, and everybody is welcome. I don't care if you're a freshman, I don't care if you're a senior, I don't care if you start, I don't care if you never play. We offer our leadership program to everybody in our athletic program because I believe that leaders do evolve over time. They buy into philosophies, they get coached, they get mentored, they turn into a whole different kid. I mean, you should have saw me as a freshman here in high school, okay? Compared to what I looked like when I was a senior or in college. Just the transformation is incredible, okay? So I want to watch kids grow up and have the ability to, when it's their time and they're given an opportunity, they have the tools to lead. I don't want to just invite the 3 people that coach thinks right now are the leaders, because what we're going to get is 3 seniors that come in here, sit down, we have a conversation, and they're leaving next year. And all that stuff is gone. I love the freshmen that are in our program that show up. Now, it is a little bit of a commitment. It's at 7 in the morning. It's at 7 in the morning. Starts at 7 on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday. Also, kind of like that because people have to work to get there, especially kids, juniors, seniors. You got to get out of bed. It's part of the deal, right? That's important. Those things are important. There's got to be something to get out of it. Last year, we started with 110 kids at 7 in the morning on the first Wednesday we had it. By the last day of school, we still had almost 70. Okay, by the last one we had in school. And I was thankful for that, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm just going to show you a few slides about what we talk about. Okay, we have a couple different things we do. We talk about a topic of the day. We talked about little things. For you Cardinal fans, I put John Mosaic up here because he said that those little things ended up being big things, and those big things ended up creating disaster. No kidding. If you're a Cardinals fan, you know it. He's exactly right. Disaster. Okay? I don't believe in little things. I think everything's important. Because if we let little things not be important, then ultimately it creeps into the big things. Okay? I don't believe in that. So that was one of our lessons about eliminating little things. Tying your shoes is important. If you don't tie your shoes, there's a good chance later on it might cost you. It could cost you a torn ACL. Okay? A lot of things are important. So we had a lesson on that. You know, I talked about our grounds crew. If this was our grounds crew, I would go out there and tell them that might be a little thing to you, but that's important to me because if we bunt a ball down the line that should be fair and it's out of play because of the crooked line, we could lose a game. And we try to talk about things like that matter just to make them think. Okay? You know, this is just a quote that we put on, and I'll ask the kids their thoughts about something like this. Every time we say yes to something unimportant, we say no to something important. What do they think about it? I had a lesson on the Masters, and wow, this is great because we can't live without our cell phones. Nobody. Can't go anywhere without them. We can't live. You know, if our kids got to be without them 10 minutes, I feel like they're going to get the shakes. Okay? Well, it's amazing. The 200,000 people that go to the Masters for the weekend can't have their phones the entire weekend because they love to do it, so they're fine with it. So learn to love everything that way, right? Where we can do without those types of things. That was a lesson that we talked about. You know, you can't run, make noise, and you know what happens if you have any of those things? You're gone. They don't care how much your ticket costs, okay? When we can start treating our days and our practices and our games like we treat going to things we want to go to, we act different, and we perform different, and we raise the level different. You know, we talked about our kids. I had them actually speaking of cell phones. This was the face of my cell phone, and I showed them, put a vision board on your cell phone so when you hit it, some of the things that are important to you show up right away and remind you that you're here for more reasons than just what you're doing at this moment. But the things you do this moment could affect some of the things that ultimately are important to you. That's a lesson that we talked about. So, in essence, encourage your kid to come to leadership if they can. I also understand that freshmen and sophomores have a tough time with this because of transportation. So I get it. You are not looked down upon if you don't go. Now, if our coaches do name captains or have some type of leadership group in their team, they have to come. You cannot be a captain on our teams and not come to leadership. Okay, that's a requirement. All right, shifting gears again. Booster Club. All right, so many of you over the years have gotten to know our good friends Di and Billy and Sue, who have basically been our Booster Club for the last 100 years. I don't know, since I was in school. They've been here forever. They are like my best friends. I don't know if I could be an athletic director without them, and I mean that sincerely because they have been the backbone of our athletic program for a long time. So we'll do something special for Di, Billy, and Sue soon. But the reason I bring this up is our Booster Club is going to go a little bit different direction because they are retiring, I guess. Is that the word? Retiring. They've had enough. Okay? They deserve to not have to worry about it anymore, and we've just been blessed to have them as long as we have. I know they will still be around, but they've graciously tried to figure out a transition plan for us, which we've taken kind of the bull by the horns. I know why people don't want to join the Booster Club, because they see Billy and Di and Sue in the concession stand every night and go, I'm not working concessions every night. Like, I get it. I wouldn't want to either. Okay? So we're doing it different. All right? We are going our Booster Club is going to be 9 people, okay? It's going to be 9 people. We're going to have a 9-person board, all right? We want to have multiple sports represented, the middle school represented, and kind of make it as diverse in that way of a board as we can to help us make decisions. All right? So what we're doing is we're taking applications for our board. Okay? Once it gets formed, we're going to meet for a half hour once a month to go over things, to okay spending. But what I really want to do, we have taken concessions over as an athletic program now. Chris Lindsay, who's working with me now every day at the high school, he's going to schedule with our athletes and parents the concessions, and all of our programs will have to share their time in the concessions. Each program will take a couple nights. That's how we're going to do it, okay? What I want the Booster Club to be able to do are more event type things. If they want to have a trivia night in support of our athletic program, I want them to worry about that and run one event and do something cool. Okay? If they want to have a gala or something and do that, if they want to take over our golf tournament in the spring, and worry about things like that to where they don't have to worry about coming up here on a Tuesday working the concessions every week. Okay? So we're gonna take applications. There's the QR code. I will also be putting all these on social media tonight or tomorrow. Okay? If you would like to be a part of the Booster Club, we're gonna take applications. Our coaches are all gonna get in with myself, and we're gonna pick a 9-person board to kind of lead our charge here. It's a process that we feel like is the simplest way to get more people involved. And then within that board, if they want to have subcommittees for certain events, they can do that too. But we're going to start here. I know Kevin Schultz, April's husband's kind of helping us take a lead on this too. He will be involved with it as well. And we're going to go from there. So that's that. If you have any interest, please scan that. If you have no interest, that is fine. It's perfectly okay, all right? But I want that opportunity to kind of reinvest in our kids and see if we can't, even do some community events, try to get more people interested in our programs, and then raise some money that way too. Spirit items. So you will see we are a Nike school. We're a Nike Jordan. We have a Nike Jordan affiliation. So all of our varsity uniforms, if they make them for our sport, would be Jordan if they make them. It's Jordan, and if they don't make Jordan uniforms, like the only sports right now that make Jordan uniforms are basketball and football. Okay, this year will be we're the only school in the state of Illinois to actually be granted the Jordan football uniform for this season, which is pretty cool. The rest of our varsity uniforms will all be Nike, Nike custom through Nike. Our coaches help design them. Most of the time they help kids help them too. And we're on a 4-year rotation. So every 4 years, your sport will get new uniforms. That's how we do it. Now, in some of our programs, our coaches want to buy an alternate uniform through Nike. They do that with their fundraise money. They can do that at any time. So our coaches can do that as well. But I just wanted to say that, and the reason I say that is because our BSN sideline store, which I'll be sending out on social media soon as well, has that Nike and Jordan stuff that you can get, okay? A lot of times they do like 20% off sales and stuff, and I will try to kind of keep you in the loop on that as well. I'll also tell you that our 2 partners in town that do a lot of our printing for us, Bird's Eye Embroidery, which is right on Main Street, they do all of our embroidery. Even our Nike Jordan stuff, they've actually do the embroidery on that. And then Warrior Logo Wear, we have a similar partnership with for all of our screen printing and direct-to-film printing. So they're great partners of ours. You can go into either one of those places and get stuff today, when they're open, or you can wait till our flash sales and stuff through the school store and do it that way. Okay, so those are the 2 ways to get apparel through us. Every once in a while, we'll have some Nike stock or something come in, and I'll throw it at a basketball game and throw it out on a table for sale, and I'll always put something out saying we're going to do that as well. So this is the way to follow us. Okay, so Twitter is pretty good. I guess it's X now. That's what we have the MHS Athletes X. I'm trying to get used to saying X, but I put daily things on there. A lot of schedule changes are on there. Snow deals, if we got weather issues, all those things. I try to update that. That's a great follow if you're used to using X. If not, download this app. If you go to your app store, it's called the Muscuda Indians Live. We have our own app, okay? That app will have all of our schedules. It will have advanced ticket sales that we do now for bigger events. It will have links to our sideline store. And then it also just has odds and ends. It'll have a registration link. April, am I missing something? What else is on there? Pretty Pretty much anything you need's on there, right? Okay, anything you need for athletic programs on that app, all right? So Muscuda Indians Live in your app store, you could download that. And then this is our website, which works through the app, so it's all kind of linked together. But those are the 3 ways to follow us. Like I said, the app, you can get to everything from the app. Okay, I talked about registration. You can go ahead and scan this if you want. If you don't want to scan this when you leave tonight, we have some of these printed out on the table as well. So you can grab one when you leave. Right when you leave the door, there will be one of those QR codes, and you can get it that way. That's all I have. So just a couple closing thoughts. I want you to understand that we are very grateful for the support we have in this community. Growing up here, I think when I left, I never thought I'd come back, but the best thing I ever did was come back. And I am so thankful for the amount of support that our community gives our kids. They are accomplishing things that a lot of people here never thought were possible. Now, we're going to provide them with everything they need to be successful. They have to follow our rules. They have to work extremely hard. But they're going to have opportunities here they just won't have other places. As you can see from a facility standpoint, we'll continue to set the bar for everybody else. We'll continue to do that, find ways to do it. From a coaching standpoint, we're going to hire the best coaches we can find, okay? We feel like we've got a great staff, all right? From the school district, you've got one of the greatest places to learn in the entire state. I think the high school finished in the top 10 in the state academically this last year from test scores. I mean, we're right there with anybody in the state, the whole package. If your kid wants to be in the band, they're phenomenal. If you want to be in theater, they're outstanding. Okay? You can't go wrong with this place. But all we ask is that the kids come in and they buy into what we expect out of them, and we promise you, you can trust in me that we have their best interests in mind. And we have and that filters through our coaches, and we will take the mindset that we want to be the standard in this area. Like eventually we will be the place where everybody wants to be. It takes time, it takes people, it takes effort, it takes stuff. All right, but we have a great combination of all those things here in town. So I'm very blessed to be here. This is a dream come true for me to be here. If you ever need anything from me, even if you got a suggestion, I'll take it, okay? I get plenty. I'm sure I'll get plenty tonight this weekend if I go to the park too for the homecoming. It's always a good place for a couple suggestions. But anyway, thank you so much. If you have any questions, email me or whatever, and we'll be glad to answer them. Don't forget those sheets out there. Here are the rooms. Now, some teams, like I said, aren't going to meet, okay? They've either already met or they're going to send stuff out to meet at a later date because they're either on vacation or whatever. So football, you're staying here. Cross country, cafeteria. Volleyball, they're out of town. They're at SEMO, so they're not here. Boys soccer, room 1070, which is right out of the auditorium and then a hallway to the left. Girls tennis in the field house.
Hey, we're 153.
All right, we're in 153, and she told me that, and I didn't change it. Sorry. Okay, 153 tennis. Boys golf. Coach Walscott's got a flyer. He's just going to hand it out in the commons. Girls golf will meet later, and then flag football. You are in the media center. Cheer and dance has already had their meetings, so they're good too. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry, but we should be good. All right, thank you very much. Have a great night.